should you get an appraisal gap addendum when your buyer asks for a buy down? Yes, you should. This is Beth Helvey with Compass Real Estate. Let's walk through this. You're selling your house for $500,000 and the buyer agrees to the purchase price, you agree to the purchase price, everything's fine. And then your buyer comes to you and says, I want to do a buy down. They're going to do a 1-1 or a 2-1. It doesn't really matter. But typically how this works is the buyer will overpay or give you extra money for this. And then you're going to turn around and give it to them. So let's say that the buyer wants $10,000 for their buy down. You're going to give back $10,000 in seller concession so they can have their buy down. The reason you're doing this is because the government will not allow the buyer to pay for their own buy down. They just won't allow it. The seller has to do it. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you $10,000. Does the property have to appraise for $510,000? Yes, it does. The appraiser, the government, nobody cares that it's part of a seller concession. It still has to appraise for the full contract price. To protect yourself, you are going to get an appraisal gap addendum, because if you are living in a neighborhood and you think that the property is going to appraise for $500,000 and you increase the price, how is that $10,000 going to get paid? You want your buyer to pull that money out of their pocket. So let's say the appraiser comes and the appraiser says, nope, we're appraising the property for $505,000. You still have that $10,000 seller concession in there, which means you're actually going to get $5,000 less for your property than you originally thought. If you do an appraisal gap addendum, which means that if the property appraises somewhere between $510,000 and $500,000, then the buyer is going to pull that difference out of their pocket, then you're covered. You're still going to net what you were going to net. And the lender doesn't care if the buyer pulls money out of their pocket if there's an appraisal gap. They don't care whatsoever. They just want it covered somehow, and they're only going to lend on the contract price based on the appraisal. The other thing you can do is you can put some wording in an addendum that says that if the property appraises for less money, then whatever that amount is, you're going to give that amount less back in a seller concession. So in our previous example, if for some reason the property appraises for $505,000, you will then have wording that says that you will then only give $5,000 to your buyer in seller concession for their buy down. Now, this may affect their buy down. In that case, you may have to work something else out where they're going to have to give you some money or they're going to have to pull it out of their pocket. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to grant your buyer a seller concession based on a price that's over the contract price and then expect your appraisal to come in, because you're going to end up losing money. So this is Beth Helvey with Compass Real Estate. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me in the comments and we'll go over all this again. Bye.